Welcome to my very first house plant tour. Over the past 5 or 6 months since I became a plant mom, I have developed a deep passion for houseplants. It's become very near and dear to my heart, and I've learned a lot about houseplants, and you guys want to see what I've got going on. So today I'm going to share with you guys all my houseplants that I've got and just kind of about them, their names, and kind of a little bit of how I take care of them. So let's just get right into this because this might take a little bit. We're gonna start off, let's go over here first actually. So this is my Monstera deliciosa. It's very delicious. It has grown so much since we've got it. It's kind of very big. And this plant, whether it looks like it or not, it's actually a vining plant. It doesn't look like a vine, but it grows outward like a vine. It likes to climb, and I kind of made a little newbie mistake when I got it. I didn't realize how big it was gonna get, and I didn't stake it to help it grow upward, so it really started to grow outward. So recently, maybe like a week ago, I put in these bamboo stakes to kind of help it grow upward, and this is sort of like a little temporary solution. It's actually still in its nursery pot. I don't like to repot my plants as soon as I get them. It's actually better for them to just stay in their nursery pot as long as they can. And this one has pretty much outgrown its nursery pot, but it's going into like the fall winter season, so it's not the growing season anymore. So I'm gonna keep it in its nursery pot, and I've just kind of put these bamboo stakes in as a temporary solution to kind of train it to grow upward. And then come like the end of winter, I'll repot it into a bigger pot. But we've got a beautiful new leaf happening over here. As you can see, it's very new and delicate. It's honestly like when I get a new leaf, or like a new leaf is unfurling on one of my big plants, I just have like a proud mom moment, like, yes, I'm doing something right. So this one is a little bit further away from the window, and these monsteras actually can grow in lower light conditions. They don't need a lot of bright light. Of course, if they do get a lot of bright indirect sunlight, they're gonna grow a lot faster, but they still grow quite well in lower light conditions. And just like all my plants, I just water this guy once it gets dry. And now that it's becoming like the fall and winter season, I'm gonna be watering it a lot less because it's not gonna get as much sun. But that is my beautiful, monstrous Monstera. Let's move on. So next big floor plant that I've got here, this is Miss L, the elephant ear, or another term for this plant is an alocasia plant. This plant has actually grown a lot as well since I got it, but as you can see, it's got a little bit of browning on some of the leaves, and I don't really know because I'm still a newbie at this, but I think it's due to possibly a deficiency, maybe like iron or magnesium. I'm not exactly sure. If you know more than I do, please let me know in the comments down below. But this guy is still in her nursery pot as well, and she should be repotted as well, but I just haven't done that yet because...
Just as this guy is in her nursery pot.
Whatever. She's definitely outgrown her nursery pot, and I'm just waiting to find the right pot to repot her in, but I will repot her eventually. But I really thought that she wasn't doing well when I first got her because of the browning. Recently, she started to really push out a lot more new growth. So I got this brand new, beautiful big leaf here, and this leaf is a new leaf. And yeah, this is actually my most troublesome plant. This is the plant that I have the most hard time understanding. And she's a tropical plant, so she likes to have a lot of humidity, which we don't really have here in Canada. So I like to keep the house at around like between 73 to 75 degrees, so it's kind of nice and warm. And if I'm going to get a humidifier actually for the winter, because the winters are going to be a lot more dry than the summer. Just to help her out. But yeah, I water her when she gets dry. She likes to be a little bit more moist than the other tropical plants, so I really keep an eye on her. And Yeah, that's her. She's beautiful. She's big. I really like her. So let's move on to this big plant shelf that I've got happening over here. I guess we'll start off with the top. So this plant here is my golden pothos, which I love so dearly. It's not as golden as it was when I first got it from the greenhouse, because in the greenhouse it was getting a lot more light than it is in my house. So if it's not getting as much light, this like golden variegation will start to revert back to just plain old green leaves, but I don't really mind because I think it's beautiful no matter what. It's been growing quite well as well, and I did actually trim it back and make some cuttings that I'm propagating here, as you can see. Maybe I'll do a separate video on how I propagate it, but I've cut them and they're growing roots, and I'm actually going to make a new golden pothos plant from my cuttings. And I wanted to show you this because I think it's so cool. I cut it here and it just started to grow again from the side. I just think plants are so magical that way. So I'm actually going to trim it back again, I think, because when you trim back pothos or philodendrons, like vining plants, it actually helps them to push out a lot more growth on the top, and it makes for a nice full plant. So if you have a vining plant that's super leggy and it's not super full on the top and you want it to grow more out of the top, try trimming it back and it will start to push out more babies on the top, which is really good. These are more pothos cuttings that I've put in these cool little propagation stations. We've got lots of nice roots coming in, so I definitely need to pot them in some soil soon. Let's talk about this guy. This is actually my saddest plant, I would say. It hasn't grown at all since I've got it. And I repotted it from its nursery pot into this pot and nothing has happened. So I don't know what happened. Maybe I didn't take very good care of it at the beginning, but...
What's it called?
Oh, it's a... I don't really know how to say it. Dracaena? I don't know. I'll write the name on the screen. But yeah, I've just kind of been keeping it and I've been watering it and giving it fertilizer here and there, but nothing's happening. So I just kind of keep him back here because he still looks cute. So yeah. And then I've got a good old aloe vera plant, and this one has actually grown a lot since I've repotted it into this. I actually got this from IKEA and it was in a very little small planter, and I repotted it into here, and we've got a new little baby happening in the center here. And yeah, I just really want one of those big, huge aloe vera plants because aloe is such a great plant. You can use it for so many different things like burns and on your skin and stuff. So it's just a really great plant to have in your house. And for this plant, I barely watered this guy at all. I was watering it a little bit more than I am now, like in the summer, because it was drying out a lot faster, but I barely watered this guy at all. All right, moving on. This is my heart-shaped philodendron. I got this guy a little bit while after I got most of these plants, and I put him in more of like a low light situation, not on this shelf, and he wasn't growing at all. And then I moved him here, and this is an east facing window, so we get nice bright morning light and then a lot of indirect sunlight, bright light throughout the day. And he just started to grow like crazy. And then, so just like this pothos, I cut him back and I made some cuttings and I made a little baby. Nothing has happened, but nothing has died yet. So this is my first time ever like repotting some cuttings and trying to propagate and make another plant from another plant. And I don't really know what's gonna happen, but I've just been keeping an eye on it, watering it. It's not dead yet, so we'll see what happens. But this guy, and same with the pothos, I like to let them dry out to almost like critical dryness point. The pothos and the philodendrons don't like to be really wet, so I let them dry out as much as possible and then give them a really nice watering, and it seems to work for me. But yeah, he's doing quite well. Actually, I don't really know. It could be this guy or this one. I think we had a little case of fungus gnats because I've been seeing some little black flies flying around, especially on this shelf. So the other day I just gave them a little neem oil treatment. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that if you guys are interested in it. And it seems to be helping. I've only seen a few, not as many gnats flying around, so I'll have to do another treatment, but he's still growing quite well. This
snake plant
is my snake plant, or Sansevieria. I recently actually repotted it into this one. He really grew out of the nursery pot. He was like literally bulging out of the pot. Like the roots were like protruding the pot. So I knew it was time to put him in a bigger pot. And he's been doing quite well. I had him over by my kitchen sink, and that's where he did a lot of his growing. But I moved him here just because I wanted to put him with the rest of the fam, because plants like to be with each other. They actually create a lot more like humidity when they're together, and plants like to talk to each other. So isolating a single plant, I just felt like he was left out. So I put him over here. And this guy, snake plants, Sansevierias, they're almost like succulents, so they really like to be super dry. He's really wet right now because I just repotted him and I watered him and I fertilized him. But yeah, we've got some new growth happening over here, this little baby, and a lot more new growth happening in here. So I'm hoping that he's just gonna grow and be super tall and really beautiful. Come here, Miss Marble Queen. This is my beautiful Marble Queen Pothos. As soon as I saw her in the store, I was like, okay, you're mine, I'm taking you home. I just love the variegation on the plant. It's just so beautiful. She really needs to be repotted again. It looks like I need to do a lot of repotting because she's outgrown her little nursery pot. But she's basically the same as this philodendron and this pothos. I like to let her dry out. She's been growing quite well, but she hasn't been growing as much because she needs a lot more room, but she's very beautiful and I love her. All right, last two plants on my shelf here. Let's start off with this one. I love this. I love these plants. This is my Pilea. I don't know if this is a girl or boy. I haven't really named this one. I think it's a girl. I don't know. She looks like a girl. She's grown a lot. She was like a little baby when we got her, and it's just grown like crazy. This plant is really easy to take care of. This one, the snake plant, and I would say the philodendrons and pothos are really easy for like beginner plant moms or plant dads. But yeah, she just likes some indirect sunlight, and it's really easy to tell when she needs some water because these leaves will start to look a little bit droopy and almost like a little bit wrinkled, like she's dehydrated. And she doesn't like to be super dry, so I don't let her dry out all the way. I love it. I just love the way it looks. It's so cool. I'm gonna repot this one into a much bigger one in a little bit, but as you can see, like this little baby is like right on the edge of the plant, and this one is really easy to propagate. So when you start to see like a little baby like this, maybe not now because it's a lot more developed, probably really attached to the parent plant, but once you see it, you can just literally pop it out and put it into a new pot, and you've got another Pilea plant. But I really want like a big, huge Pilea plant, so I'm gonna keep it all together. Okay, this is probably my favorite. Oh, it's so hard to say, but I really, really love this plant. This is a watermelon peperomia plant. It's so beautiful. Look at it. I got this one at the same time that I got my Queen Marble Pothos, and it looks like it was grown from just a cutting. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little cutting of a leaf that's in the soil, and it looks like maybe that's how it was started. I'm not sure, but that's how it was when I got it. And it's grown quite a bit as well since I've got it. I only had maybe like 3 or 4 little leaves when I got it, and it's been growing like crazy on this shelf by the east-facing window. And yeah, she's the same as the Pilea. You can really tell when it's when it needs water because it kind of gets a little wrinkled on the leaves. But yeah, look at it. And we've got a new leaf coming in here. Look how baby it is. So cute. All right, we just got one more plant. Oh no, let's talk about this one. So this one, it hasn't grown at all since I've got it, but it got scale, which is a type of plant disease. So if you can see, there's little white specks all over the leaves here, and that's scale. And I don't know how I got it. Maybe it had it when I brought it home, but I didn't realize it, and so I've just kind of been keeping this guy in the garage and keeping it away from all my plants, kind of in quarantine, because I don't want to give scale to any of my other plants. And I did the neem oil treatment on it a couple days ago, and it's like the scale dots, the white dots, have reduced significantly. So I'm gonna do a couple more treatments of the neem and we'll see. But since I did that and I gave it a really good watering and a little bit of fertilizer, I noticed that we've got a little bit of new growth happening here. Really slow, but it's happening. So I'm just kind of seeing how this goes. But this is I don't even know what this is called. It's a succulent plant, but I don't remember the name, so I apologize, but yeah. All right, one last plant. This is our beautiful bird of paradise plant. I get questions about this plant all the time when I post about it on Instagram. I was so nervous.
Pull it into the light.
Is that good?
Yeah.
I was so nervous to bring this plant home because we paid a lot of money for her and I didn't want to kill it. And I'm so shocked that I haven't killed it. But this is obviously a very tropical plant as well, so it likes the warmth. I let it dry out, but I don't let it get to like critical dryness, and I water it probably once a week in the summer. I'm not going to be watering it as much in the winter, but it has given us a lot of new growth since we brought it home. As you can see, this is like a new leaf that has been unfurling for the past couple weeks. I don't know what's happening. It's split here, which is normal. The leaves will split, but it hasn't unfurled yet totally. And then if you come over here, we've got a new leaf popping up in here, coming through. Super cool. But I love this plant. I just love the aesthetic.
How much has it grown since you got it? How many new leaves?
How many do you think? Probably like 6, 5 or 6?
3 or 4.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's like 2 right there. I would say probably 5 new leaves since we brought it home.
Oh.
Like big ones too. Like this was a new leaf since we brought it home. This one. Yeah, this one.
Over the course of 4 months, so almost like
4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one likes as much sunlight as possible, so I keep it in this corner right up against the window. It would do better on like a south-facing window with the afternoon sun because this plant can handle full sun. Whereas a lot of these other plants, if they're in full sun, it might burn the foliage, but this one likes as much sun as possible. And yeah, I just water it the same as my other plants and fertilize it in the growing season. And now that it's becoming winter and fall, I haven't really thought about what I'm going to do with all my plants come the winter and fall, but not going to be watering as much. I might end up getting a grow light depending on how much sun we're going to get this winter because again, this guy likes a lot of sun. But yeah, she's been doing very, very well and I'm very, very pleased with her.
What's her name?
I think we named her Fiona.
Oh yeah.
Because, I don't know. It's green. When I think of Fiona, I think of Shrek, like ogre, green, big, beautiful. I don't know. So yeah, those are all of my houseplants. I hope you guys enjoyed my little houseplant tour. If you guys would like to see more plant videos, please let me know what kinds of videos. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.